YB stays on your neck.
It's on my neck.
Yo, my dons, make sure you hit that like button, comment, subscribe, and obviously hit the bell for notifications. Now, all my little dons out there who've been following my channel, you'll know that YB has been speculating on some sort of conspiracy, or essentially, actually, scrap the conspiracy. YB has been saying we've been missing a key piece of information or informations. Something wasn't adding up right. Too many factors. Yeah, you got Adam Booth saying we're not coming back here to America. Stuff going on. You got Derek Chisora saying there was madness going on in camp. You got AJ speculating about, oh, this will be great for the networks. You've got AJ and Eddie Hearn both saying, oh, there's nothing wrong. You've got AJ looking like his chin's disappeared. Anthony, chin has forsaken him. Joshua, yeah? You got AJ suddenly turned into Twinkle Toes. From the before he even took a shot rather. Man's backpedaling and running around the place like a fairy, trying to be Tyson Fury. In the corner, Joshua was saying, what's going on? Why do I feel like this? Joshua was saying, what shot did he hit me with? Joshua was literally begging Robert McCracken. Oh, what's Ruiz going to do in this next round? These are things you just don't ask. When you're in a fight, you should know what shots you've been hit with. You should know, pretty much, what's been going on in that sense. As in, what to expect. And it's crazy, I'm going to do a video on this in its own right, but Joshua had a video out the night before the fight, saying basically, oh yeah, I stayed up until, I haven't had long to prepare for Ruiz. I stayed up until 3 a.m. looking at his fights and studying them. I thought, these are the behaviours of a man who he's not clear of mind. You don't stay up to 3 a.m. on the night before, do you? But this is one of the factors of a potential concussion. Now, let's get to it. Gareth A. Davis broke this story 17 hours ago. And he says, there are stories that potentially and possibly Anthony Joshua had been sparring and had been hurt in sparring leading up to the fight. He had a problem with his eye coming into the fight. He had marks on his nose, the cut on his nose, swelling on one part of his face as well. And there is some, and these are just rumours at the moment, that he might have been knocked out in sparring heading into the fight. Now I have to say, I was very glad to hear this because, like I've been saying to you, man, we're missing something here, and this concussion business fits perfectly. Now there was many people, to be fair, before Gareth A. Davis speculated it, there was many people talking about a concussion, and I kind of brushed over it, but now I'm not jumping on the bandwagon even now. It makes perfect sense. And I remember, for those of you who follow the UFC, do you remember Max Holloway? Now, he had a very serious case of concussion. The problem is with concussion, there's no test for it. There's no proof. You can only really go based on a broad array of symptoms. And essentially, he was cleared by the commissions to fight. And that's one thing people are forgetting. All the AJ haters are coming out saying, oh, well, actually, the New York Athletic Commission, they're the strictest commission. They never would have passed him. Listen. Max Holloway got past, and his symptoms were a lot worse. He was falling asleep in interviews. His eyes were all squiggling all over the place. Yeah, he was passed by a commission. His team had to pull him out. Yeah, simple as that. So you can't go based on what they do. They can only know what you tell them. They can only know what they see, and if they can't test for it, it's no good. But anyway, let's get into it. Is this realistic? Is it possible? It's funny, I heard all these AJ haters talking about, oh, well, I'm not even sure, Joey. Allegedly, the person who did it was a man called Joey Dawejko, something like that. Joey, Dawejko. TBV is saying, oh, I'm not sure he'd have the power to do that. These guys, this is the problem when you've got a load of bozos making videos. This is what happens when you've got a load of bozos who don't understand science. They don't understand squat. They don't understand boxing. In boxing and in science, it isn't about a particular amount of power. When you've got a 300-pound man hitting you in the head, like Deontay Wilder likes to say, yeah, man, the head ain't supposed to be hit. It's not about having the amount of power. Any 300-pound man, in fact, any 100-pound man can give another man a concussion. There's so many factors that go into it, yeah? Bottom line is, head guard or no head guard, 16-ounce gloves or no 16-ounce gloves. If you get hit on the head and the factors are right, you can get a concussion. You don't even necessarily have to be knocked out. That's the other thing. People say, oh, well, Joshua didn't get knocked out cold. You don't have to be. You literally can get hit on the head, not even know about it, and you can become seriously concussed. It's not about an amount of force. And another way to prove this is this. Listen, Some people can be hit in the head with a sledgehammer and not be concussed and not be knocked out. Does that make sense? It's not a clear case, oh well, if you do this, you'll always get a concussion. Sometimes you will, sometimes you won't. So in that regard, I 100% believe Joshua could and is most likely, highly likely, to have been concussed. Now let's break down the factors that imply he was concussed. What do we know? What's YB been saying? All of my things, and in a way, I have to take back some of the things, some of the things I've said against Joshua, i.e. talking about how his cardio was shocking, talking about how his chin was shocking, and in that respect, if he was actually no, I was about to say I'm gonna apologise and take back the things I said, but actually no. The reason I'm not gonna apologise is because guess what? Joshua, after the fight, could have come out and said, listen guys, I'm not making no excuses. Andy Ruiz could have levelled me anyway, but I just want people, I want my fans to know, I want my fans who have stood there and advocated for me and pushed my message whilst I've said nothing and sucked everyone else off. Yeah? Whilst I've been sucking everyone off, I want to let my fans know who have been supporting me and who now have to pick up all the pieces. I want them to know that, by the way, if you were wondering why I've been a bit airy-fairy, if you've been wondering why I had no cardio after a round, if you've been wondering why suddenly I can't take a shot, I'm not sure if it made a difference, but by the way, I did get put down in sparring, and I have felt a bit concussed, or I've had some symptoms of concussion. He could have come out and said that. If he'd have said that, I wouldn't have needed to come on here and talk about how he's chinless and how he's got no cardio. But the fact he didn't do that, I'm not going to pull it, actually. And that kind of moved on to my next point, actually, as well, because I've got to say this. I'm going to do a video on this in its own right, but Eddie Hearn's already come out and said, oh yeah, Joshua wasn't concussed, there were no problems, yeah, he didn't have a panic attack, all this, that, the other. Now, if Joshua, in my opinion, no, not in my opinion, from YB's perspective, Joshua best pick his words carefully. If Joshua comes out and denies anything about a panic attack, if he denies anything about a concussion, that's it. I'm going with chinless then. You can't have it both ways. You can't have us AJ supporters. I'm not going to let you sit there and deny these rumours and expect me to come on here saying, acting like a conspiracy theorist, oh no, it did happen. You best come and be honest. Now, because bottom line is, if you come out and tell us you weren't concussed, then you're chinless then, isn't it? You can't have it both ways. Either you're chinless and cardioless, or you had concussion. You can't have it both ways. I'll tell you that for free. If Joshua comes out and denies these rumours, I'm not going to be advocating for him. I'm not going to make excuses for a man who won't even man up and tell the truth. It's not about making excuses. This is about telling the truth to your fans. And as I said, you can pre-warn the statement by saying, by the way, guys, I'm not making an excuse. Andy Ruiz probably would have dealt with me the same way. However, I owe it to my loyal fans to let them know that I wasn't 100%. I did get KO'd. I did get concussion. Never mind, in fact, scrap the KO'd. All we want to know is, were you concussed or did you feel concussed? You'll know that within yourself. Yeah? Bottom line. And if he doesn't do that, I'm not going to be defending him at that point. I want to get that clear for everyone. I'm not going to be on here making excuses for him if he can't even do us a favour and come out and admit what happened or what didn't happen. Anyway, bearing in mind Joshua hasn't personally responded to the rumours, let's get into it. Let's see what the factors are. Now, one thing, shout out to Sporting Icons. We've had a back and forths over the years, but whatever. The bottom line is, he put a video out and he had a clip of Ben Davidson's Twitter. And in Ben Davidson's Twitter post, after the Joshua knockout, he tweeted a picture of a brain. He tweeted a picture of a glove. Now, Sporting Icons speculated that potentially he is a trainer, he is a coach, saw the signs of concussion. Now, as I said, I didn't initially pick up on it, but now, thinking that, and that's an interesting case, if you haven't already looked into it, look into the Max Holloway concussion. I might even do a video on it in its own right, because it's serious stuff. And all these bozos, TBV, they really haven't got a clue what they're talking about. If you're concussed, yeah, there's a reason, there is a reason, never mind concussions. When you are knocked down, when you've been knocked down, when you're TKO'd, yeah, the protocol is 30 to 90 day suspension. That's standard. Never mind concussion. As I said a minute ago, you can be knocked down or TKO'd and not have a concussion. In fact, most times you won't have a concussion in that sense. But still, you're out for a minimum of 30 days. Minimum. Now, these rumours about Joshua being knocked down, they were 8 days ago. And when you've got a concussion, and observing how severe it looked, and the reason I'm really going with this one is because this perfectly fits it. What was missing with Joshua? It's like he was living in the clouds up till 3 a.m. the night before, studying Andy Ruiz, talking about how he didn't have enough time. What the fuck? Yeah, you didn't have a full camp, but you had 5 weeks. Yeah? 5 weeks ago, you could have been, never mind staying until 3 a.m, you should have been doing that research in the afternoon whilst you're laying in bed, not at 3 a.m. the night before. But these are the action, this is what concussion can do. It makes you not make rational decisions. Yeah? It's the same way in the fight. People were saying, why wasn't he holding? People put it down to IQ. People put it down to experience. But in my head, I was thinking, it's an experience. My man's been in training for 12 years. It's not rocket science. When you're hurt, you need to put your chin down and put your hands up. When you're hurt, you need to grab on. Yeah? Simple as that. He wasn't doing them things. He wasn't taking rational decisions. And like I said a minute ago, the things he was saying to Rob McCracken in the corner. Can you tell me what Andy Ruiz, what's he going to do next? They're things you don't say at this level. What's he going to do next? That's mental. Do you understand that? What shot did he hit me with? Bearing in mind, you're in the fight, you need to know what you should know. You're the one who's been hit with it. You should know what side of your face is hurting in that sense. You should know what shot you need to be catching with. For him to be saying these things, it's classic short-term memory loss. Not solid decision making. This is classic concussion stuff. And everyone else can say, this is how stupid people are. This is the problem when you've got uneducated people making videos. I'm not sure, Joey. I'm not sure a 300-pound trained man. I'm not sure a 300-pound trained man could give Anthony Joshua a concussion. What's wrong with these people? They're stupid. Proper stupid. They have no idea about anything, seriously. People call me, say I don't have a clue, but wow. These dudes are stupid. Anyway, as I was saying, I want to break down quickly the factors. So the cardio, that was non-existent. And I said before, look at the Joseph Parker fight. He was moving more then, and he was consistently 1-2. Joshua's punch output was so low in this fight. Look how weak that jab was. He had a low lead hand as well. All of these things are, what do we know? They're bad decision making as well. This is the bit that got me. I was criticising Joshua, saying, even Rob McCracken said to him, pick both of your hands up. The next round he goes out straight away with a low lead hand. This is what I'm talking about. Poor decision making, short-term memory loss potentially, not understanding what's going on at all. It was a miracle, really, looking back on it. And even after the fight, the reason I say airy, when you have a concussion, you can't. It's almost like you've been smoking weed. You're like in the clouds, and that's how when Joshua lost. Look how he was acting. He was really. Sugar Ray Leonard picked on me. He said, "Listen, whenever I lost, I was really angry, and that's how most people are now. I know Joshua's more humble and more nicer than most, but he was almost like it wasn't happening to him, and that's what it can do. It's like an out of body experience, like you're high. He was just floating along, completely floating that whole night, before and after. And even people like Dave Allen picked up on it and said, it seems to me, and he's a boxer, yeah. It seems to me Joshua's been put down or hurt in sparring, bang." And he's going to know the rumours as well. And now it makes sense as well what Derek Chisora was saying. Derek Chisora said, there's things that's happened which shouldn't be happening. I'm not going to say anything. Now it could be, what do we know? It could be that Eddie Hearn or someone's forced this fight to happen. And it also explains now why Anthony Joshua's dad was potentially angry. Now I'm going to do a video talking about that side of things on another one. For now, we're just going to concentrate on this Joshua concussion business and evaluating whether it's likely. So as I was saying, his coordination as well, little things like picking his hand up, when he brings his hands back, picking his hands up. Now Joshua, sometimes when he dings, Dylan White touched on this, when AJ dings the right hand, he doesn't always bring it back right to his chin. But he was being caught with everything but the kitchen sink. That's not normal, AJ. Now, to be fair, to Ruiz's credit, AJ hasn't fought a combination fighter like Ruiz before. So that could have happened anyway. Let's discount that. But shot resistance, come on, guys. I picked up on this. The first thing I said was, what's happened to AJ's chin? Look at the Klitschko fight. He only got put down once, and that one time he got put down, he didn't really get put down. He got hit, and he stumbled backwards, and he sat down and smiled. This last night, everything that touched him, he went over. Everything. And everyone was talking about, that's because he's chinny. No. If he was chinny, Dylan White would have put him down. If he was chinny, he's been hit before. Let's be serious now. He's been hit before and not put down. And these guys from TBV, that's the other thing these goons are saying. They say, man, well, we've heard these rumours before. Yeah, how come the rumours never had this effect before? How come being put down never had this effect before? Well, this is the thing, you muppets. As I said, Being hit and put down doesn't always guarantee you to be a concussion. Besides, put it this way, I've never heard a rumour before. Whilst I've heard of rumours about David Price and Lawrence Okoli and Daniel Dubois, I've heard rumours, but I've never heard of rumours about AJ getting put down 8 days before a fight. Not only that, being put down 8 days before a fight, combined with all the other factors, Derek Chisora, Adam Booth, the way AJ performed, backstepping right from the start, can't hold his shot, yeah? Dave Allen speculating on stuff, and then not to add all insult to injury, what else happens then? AJ's dad starts kicking off towards Eddie Hearn. There's all too many factors here, and as I'm saying though, let me put this as a warning now. Anyone that knows AJ, you best, from my perspective, you best tell him to at least throw us some rope here. If you don't throw us no rope, I'm not gonna be carrying on with this line of questioning. I'll be saying straight, you're chinless and you got no cardio. That's what I'll be saying. Because how can you? He can't come out and say, oh, by the way, nothing happened, I'm fine. If that's the case, and you got no chin. Simple. Either you've been concussed or you're chinless. You can't have it both ways. I'm sorry, Joshua fans. That's how it's gonna go from now on. Because I'm sick of all of this. Stay humble. I'm not gonna tell the truth. No, in fact. It's all well and good saying, he's too humble, he doesn't want to take anything away from Andy Ruiz. I understand that, however, you have to tell the truth. Don't be a liar, don't tell us, that's the other thing. He wants to be so humble and so nice and that, but you're not being nice because you're lying to us. If it did, does that make sense? If you tell us that it didn't happen, if you say everything was fine and it wasn't, that's a lie. So no, I don't rate that. You have to be true and fair. Bottom line. And that's the other thing as well. Just before I go, I want to say this. Did anyone else notice Joshua, right from the start of the fight, he was playing with his mouth guard. And I noticed this throughout the fight. He was playing with his mouth guard. Even during the fight, after the fight, before the fight. He was playing with his mouth guard. Just like Gerald McLennan was. He had it in his mouth and he wouldn't put it in his mouth. He was chewing with it on the outside of his mouth. And they're typical signs of not being able to get enough oxygen in. They're typical signs of not being able to get oxygen into your brain. And all of that business. That might have been a reason why he spat his gum shield out. Now, obviously, he spat his gum shield out because he was ultimately gassed and being whooped up. But what I'm saying is, we've seen it before, with brain injuries, people have a higher propensity to remove that gum shield from their mouth. We've seen it with Gerald McLennan. So if he's had a concussion, and let's not forget, let's give Andy Ruiz a certain level of credit here. Not only has he been potentially concussed, we were then compounding that concussion with 4 more put downs and God knows however many more shots. Yeah? So that brain trauma is going to compound him needing to get oxygen in your brain. Bottom line. So, as I say, man, I'm just hoping AJ tells the truth on this one. And otherwise, I'm not sure where we can go with this. But from what I'm seeing, all the factors, put it this way. In the comments below, all the AJ haters, you tell me what factors you saw to support this not being a concussion. What have you seen? Apart from AJ denying it, which is, to be fair, it's pretty strong evidence, but all the other signs, something's not right in this one. I don't care what no one says. Something's not right, and this fits perfectly.